お願いします。
Hello.
まず最初に自己紹介をお願いします。
I'm Said, and I'm half of Story MFG.
名前の由来をお願いします。
The origin of the name of Story has two parts, Story and MFG. Story, when we were starting the company, which wasn't supposed to be the way that it is now, it was just supposed to be like one or two pieces. We were trying to think of a name that was kind of friendly sounding and looked nice, and also something that told people that how a garment is made is important to us, and the story of the product is part of what makes it valuable. And then MFG is it's just like we were, as we were looking through like lots of vintage and old British workwear, we would see like labels in it and it would say something MFG, or a little contracted word that factories or companies that were factories would put next to their name to say that they were manufacturers. So altogether it was Story Manufacturing.
次に特徴的なデザインがすごい印象的なんですけど、デザインソースとかデザイン影響されたものとかって何ですか？
Yeah, always nature, so everything is made naturally, almost completely naturally. We use some recycled plastic here and there, but everything is made from natural. Everything else is made from natural materials, so like cotton and linen, and then it's dyed with plants. So that's always been really inspirational. And then in terms of the actual clothing, like the shapes tend to be either workwear or outdoor gear. So like the top that you're wearing now is from like an old hiking top that we've kind of re-engineered to be more in our vision, interpreting hiking shapes and outdoor performance fabrics and then making them in a crafted way. So for next season we've got ripstop, which is used a lot in hiking gear and like military stuff, but instead of it being made of plastic, we've made it with hand loom. So we've made it like a highly crafted version.
次に天然染料とか、刺繍を使った時間をかけたものづくりがすごい印象的なんですけど、なぜ時間がかかる手法でものを作ろうと思ったんですか？
That part of story of the company is to me, and I think to Katie also, the most important part. We care about like the environment and we care about natural dyes and everything, but actually craft is the most important, most interesting thing for us. And we go to trouble because I think that it's really important to find ways to make people buy into craft, to keep these crafts alive. It used to be that fashion, especially like expensive fashion houses, used to work with craft people and put together these very expensive luxury collections. And although it was a small amount of work, it was expensive work, and it would keep the craft alive. And then it feels like luxury fashion houses have moved more towards making streetwear, which is mostly like screen printing and new fabrics, and all of the craft like embroidery and hand weaving and stuff is being like left behind. So the thing that we love to do is to make it as crafted as possible. So the top you're wearing has got hand crochet, that's done by hand, not by a machine. The dyeing is all by hand. The patchwork here is all by hand. The embroidery is done by hand on your hat. So because we think that craft is really important, just to keep cultures alive and to keep things interesting, but also it keeps people in work and it makes the industry. When we grow as a company, most companies can only, as they grow, they just sort of get faster machines to make everything. But for us, we can't do that because everything's craft-based. So every time we grow, we add a new person and a new person and a new person, so that Story MFG becomes this like really wide base of people all working at the same time. And I think that's really special to us because we really care about people working with materials that are good for them, good for the planet, and with their hands and expressing, I don't know, some kind of artistic thing.
次に地球に優しいエコなものづくりをしていると思うんですけど、どういった工夫をされていますか？
So I think quite a lot. But first of all, we don't use any not any chemicals that are bad for the soil. So like, because that's the most important thing really. So everything, almost everything is completely naturally dyed. So all of the waste from that process becomes fertilizer. So it actually improves the soil. Also the growth of the different plants also improve the soil, and the environment, like the immediate environment around it as we grow them. Those dyes are then good for the dyers' hands, people wearing them, etc. The majority of stuff is made from biodegradable materials, apart from where we use recycled plastic. So when people get rid of their clothes, they mostly become fertilizer again. The place where everything is sewn is renewably energy powered, and we don't use any electric dryers. We only use sunlight. We don't use any extra water. All the water is recycled. We make things in a very small area. We ship things very little. What else? There's actually quite a lot. I think at this point in time, it's impossible for any brand or company to be like fully eco-conscious. But we think we do the best job that I know of, and we take a lot of time to measure what the best thing to do is. But I would say the biggest thing is using and researching natural dye, because that improves the planet before we even start using it, and then we use it, and then it creates like this positive loop afterwards.
次に、日本のファッションについてどう思うか教えてください。
I don't really know much about Japanese fashion, only what I see. I think you've obviously got great taste. Japan always seems quite interesting because it feels like people have got a more individualistic style, or at least there's Katie, my partner, used to always come to Japan to study like new trends emerging for her old job, and we're really thankful for Japan, because Japan's where Story MFG like really grew from. Like, we're a British company, but for the first, I don't know, 3 or 4 years of selling, like our biggest market was here in Japan. So I do really like Japanese style. Actually, the best thing about Japanese style is seeing the stuff that we've designed styled differently. So I really like seeing pictures of people, like when they tag us on Instagram, or if they come to the show, or if we see them and they're wearing something that we've made in a completely different an interesting way. It kind of, I don't know, I don't think it doesn't challenge us, but it makes us think about things really differently. Think about, like, for example, we've got this scarf which I was wearing today, which is like a crochet scarf. We've sold so many of those here in Japan, and people are wearing them like over their head as like cardigans with pinned up, and like over one shoulder, like in so many different ways. And I never thought it would be such a success, but it is.
ありがとうございます。最後に今後の展望をお願いします。
Story moves like so slowly. It's taken us 5 or 6 years to like have a collection this big, and because it's all so crafted. So I think we're just going to grow really slowly. More. I think we should be doing some collaborations with big companies, which I don't know if I should say or not. And we're hopefully starting to work on like homeware, like things like blankets and duvets and stuff like that, things that are interesting. And then also just like growing the collection and having more to work with, like working with more artists, making some new shapes. Hopefully, hopefully all goes good. I just want to keep going, like quite slow and steady.
今日はどうもありがとうございました。
Thank you very much.
Cheers.